Hello, students. This is the second module of week 4. So our first module looked at material properties. So that was unit 2, and then I'm going to start unit 3. So unit 3 is primary manufacturing process. So we look at the manufacturing materials, its property and structure, and these things. But later, this class, this module, we will learn how to change the material into the desired product. That's the process, right? So, right, let's get started. So this module will take less than 15 minutes. I think that it may take 10 minutes or plus 3 or 4 minutes for YouTube video. This is the unit 3, so we are starting new unit, primary manufacturing process. So we'll study primary manufacturing process this week and next week, and then later we will learn secondary manufacturing process. So this is introductory manufacturing process, first chapter, and I have 5 learning objectives. So identify manufacturing process as primary or secondary. So this module is just an overview of 2 processes and define primary and secondary process. What is primary or what is secondary process, and explain 3 major types of primary process and describe 6 types of secondary process and discuss the impact of manufacturing processing on environment. So I'm not expect you understand everything, but this module just introduce the list of things or name of the processes. That's it. All right. So first one is material processing. So material processing means change the material size, shape, or looks. These are definition of material processing. So mainly, the material has 3 processes. So first of all, so when we in the manufacturing, when you change the material shapes or size or looks, we have to obtain the natural resources. For example, if I want to make a wood furniture, I'm thinking of very beautiful table. Let's say table. I want to make a table. So, but I need to think about where those material comes from. That should be from lumber, right? Being lumber, I cut or I assemble this furniture. But where does the lumber come from? Tree, right? So, so we have to obtain material from the natural resources like tree, or if I want to make a metal, maybe I need to obtain metal ore, or I want to use like plastic, maybe I need to obtain oil, right? Most of plastic come from oil product. Oil, this plastic is oil's byproduct. And second is producing industrial material. That is, industrial material means this type of lumber or metal sheet from metal ore. That is industrial material. And then making finished product, right? Those are 3: obtaining from natural resources and producing industrial material, and then making finished product. So mostly the primary processing is producing industrial material. This is a primary processing we called. Primary P, right? And obtaining resources, so mostly, but not limited to, mining, drilling, and harvesting. Those are 3 ways to obtaining resources: mining ores or stones or original material, or drilling because certain, let's say this is surface of our land globe, but certain mines or certain, particularly like oils, are inside of rocks. So that's why we drill to obtain the oil, crude oil. So, and then pumping. So this is drilling or harvesting, like cutting mature or renewable resources from land, mostly tree or other materials. And primary processing means process that change raw material into usable form of further manufacturing, mostly industrial material. That means industrial. And change, for example, is log into lumber. That is a example of primary processing. And primary processing mostly have three types of processes. First, thermal, mechanical, and chemical. So those are simple. Like thermal is to use heat, and mechanical is to use mechanical force, such as nailing or stretching or squeezing. Those are mechanical process. Or chemical process is using chemical reactions. So for the metal, the more make metal make more stronger, then we can add other types of elements such as carbon or other materials. That is chemical process. Or mostly plastic are built or based on chemical process. Mechanical is cutting, crushing, or thermal is iron into steel. Those are three major primary processes. And then once we finish the primary process, then we move to the secondary processing. Secondary processing is after obtaining the first product from the raw material, and we do other types of processing such as casting, molding for metal products, and then forming and separating, conditioning, assembling, and finishing. Those are secondary processing. So there are six major types of secondary processing, but we'll look at these processes in next unit. You don't worry about memorizing all of things. So, and I'm not going to project this as my quiz. And then, all right, so this is almost finished. The last slide. So we have to keep in mind when we make product that always, not always, but most of the time produce waste or scraps. That is environmental impact. So yeah, unwanted byproducts such as mining. So we do mining, then create holes, and then shaft the ground structure. Sometimes collapse the ground, and sometimes the ground collapse. And then harvesting timber to obtain lumber, but that devastates forest. Or steel plant is very complex process. It produces lots of fumes, dust, noise, and waste. To make up like steel, they have to get ore from the nature, and then we put ore into a furnace with charcoal, and then need extremely high temperature, mostly like more than 20,000 Fahrenheit. How can you make 2,000 Fahrenheit? We need lots of energy. We consume lots of energy, and then during this process, that gives of fumes and dust, lots of dust and fumes, sometimes chemical fumes. That is very risky, and then waters also still plan to use lots of water because after the producing metal, we need to cool down the metal. Then is water. So that's why steel plant needs lots of resources, consume lots of resources. Also, as well as after using the product, that also left lots of garbage. This is my last like one two last slides I have, but I prepared this YouTube video, so I want to watch with you this video that shows how textile industry produce lots of bad product, environmental impact. But I'm not going to play this YouTube video because of copyright. So let's go to this YouTube website and then watch this video. So while you are watching this video, you can pause my video and let's watch the video. It takes like 3.5 minutes. This is very useful, so that inform the uncomfortable facts behind the textile industry. All right, so did you watch the video? How was it? Right, it's very uncomfortable for us. So that's why when we when you do manufacturing, we have to consider environmental impact, right? So those are questions I brought from my textbooks. So we can ask: are they efficient, or is the land or water returned fully to productive use? And can it be avoided or minimized? If not, can it be controlled or cleaned up? So these questions we should always ask when you do manufacturing. So as well as when you teach manufacturing to middle school or high school students, we always think about these questions. All right. That's it. So yeah, this is summary. So this is the overview of manufacturing process. These are interesting and exciting topic of manufacturing. So we from raw material, and then obtained by drilling, mining, and harvesting, and then are converted by thermal, chemical, and mechanical process, and then these are equal into industrial goods. Those are primary processing, and which are changed by secondary processing, casting, separating, that means cutting and forming and conditioning, assembling, and finishing and into the finished goods. So those are secondary processing. So this is a overview of manufacturing process. And if you understand everything, then you can go, but we will learn about primary and secondary processing in the following lectures. Thank you for watching, and then I hope you enjoyed this module, week 4 modules. Thank you.